Hey folks, Alan Mandic, the Hot Rod Hippie here. This is the vlog 2 of the C10 build. We're heading off to the auto body supply house so I can go ahead and pick up some sandpaper, roll-lock discs, backer pad, stuff like that so I can work on metal finishing and grinding and get the door gaps done on the C10 build. So yeah, you're gonna follow along with me and we'll work on doing what we need to do about getting stuff rebuilt. I gotta do door hinges on there. I'm not sure if I'm gonna film a full video about it or do that here in the vlog. We shall see. Let's go check it out. We're here at Kemperly Auto Body Supply. Unfortunately, their lobby is closed due to COVID-19. I should have probably expected that, but it seems like things are a lot more lax here in North Carolina than they were in Massachusetts, so I just didn't really expect that. But letting the dog out of the car for a minute because we got another drive. I think I've decided not only we're picking up auto body supplies, which I will show you what we're getting in a second. I often get people asking what kind of abrasives I like, and we're picking up some of that stuff here. So that's definitely going to be something you should check out. But I'm also going to head up to the Master Power Brakes place to check out what we are picking up there as well. Come on, kiddo. As I was speaking there, the guy came out to hand me some of my supplies. They're back there in the car. I will show you what we ended up getting once we get back to the shop. But now we're off to Master Power Brakes. I'm actually wearing one of their shirts today. I look like a shill. Didn't expect to run over there, but it's a rainy, crappy day and I need to get a few things done, so I might as well run this errand while we're out. Let's go pick up the brake kit for the C10 truck. Master Power Brakes has brake upgrade kits and big brake conversion setups, power brake conversions, all kinds of stuff for your classic restoration projects. I highly recommend checking them out. I've done a shop tour here before. I'll throw a link to that up here where we actually took an entire look at this facility, but you can see here a little bit of what's going on in this shop. We just picked up this rear brake kit with emergency brake setup for the C10 for the 12-bolt rear in that truck. I'll show you inside of here what we got when we get back to the shop. Let's head back. We are back here at the shop with the truck. Time to get back to work. I just picked up the Master Power Brakes and I also picked up some stuff from the Auto Body Supply House. So let's go ahead and check those out now. Picked up from the Auto Body Supply place was some of these Norton 3-inch roll-lock style discs, 80 grit, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of metal finishing, weld grinding on this truck. I'm going to need these things. I go through them like water, unfortunately. People have asked me a bunch what brands I like when it comes to these kinds of things. Norton is one of the brands that I really like as far as abrasives are concerned. I find that in my opinion, just my opinion, 3M is just not as good as it used to be, especially not for the expense. Norton is not necessarily cheap by any means, but I find that it lasts longer than the really cheap brands, and still honestly probably better than the 3M ones for substantially more price. I also picked up a bottle of wax and grease remover. That's really good for wiping down panels on a vehicle while you're working on them, getting dust off of it and things like that, so you can keep working and seeing what you're doing without wiping off all of your marks from a marker, Sharpie, whatever. And the last thing that I picked up was a new backing disc for those 3-inch roll-locks that I put on my Sunex SX5206 grinder here. Another thing I should point out, this disc on here is from the folks at Norton as well. This is one of my absolute favorite discs I have ever used. It's one of their Blaze stripping discs. I don't know if they make them anymore, unfortunately. The Blaze strip discs are really good for removing paint, body filler, a lot of the stuff I'm gonna be dealing with on the hood of this truck, and all the body panels are still here, and also stripping some rust as well. I try to avoid holes with them because it will tear them up, but it's that ceramic woven design, and they hold up better than any other stripping disc I have ever used. I really highly like these discs. Like I said, I'm not 100% that they're even made anymore, unfortunately. If they are, I'll throw a link in the description down below to where you can find them. I really, really like those things. Maybe I'll do a dedicated video about them if I can still find them at some point here. All right, now let's take a look at what we got from the folks at Master Power Brakes. What we picked up was a rear disc brake conversion kit. Kit is really complete, comes with brake lines and even the little tabs to mount to the axle with some hose clamps to mount them. I'm gonna weld them on, of course. Some ceramic brake pads. The zinc-coated laser cut brackets that will allow for a quick, easy bolt-on design, including all of the necessary hardware to make this easy on myself. And we've got a zinc-coated caliper. This will be really nice. I'm not gonna end up with some rusted, nasty calipers in this thing or caliper brackets. And even the mechanism for the parking brake assembly is all nice and coated. And the second box is pretty straightforward. You could probably guess based off the other one. Parking brake cables to go with those calipers, so we'll have a good parking brake on the back of this truck. And brand new rotors. Shiny, clean, fresh rotors. Now you might have noticed that those rotors are not slotted and cross-drilled. They are just plain rotors. I did that for a specific reason. They offered up, I should note that this is not sponsored by the folks at Master Power Brakes, but they did provide that brake kit for this project to help support it, and I'm gonna make some video content around the brake kit to show that off to you folks. The reason I decided to go with this plain rotors instead of slotted and cross-drilled, they did offer those to me, is one, on the front of the truck, I've already got plain rotors. I don't have slotted and cross-drilled there, so I didn't really see a reason to put them on the back. I'd have to replace the front rotors as well. I don't really want to do that. Also, on a 65C10, this fender really heavily covers the wheel opening. It's not a full, large wheel arch on this thing, meaning that a lot of the wheel is blocked. Where the wheel is sitting right now is basically ride height on this truck. So a lot of the brake system is pretty well hidden in this thing. You're not going to see it, so why have something that's going to show off when you don't really need it? There are absolutely performance benefits to having slotted and cross-drilled rotors, but on a truck like this, it's not going to be a race vehicle, more of a cruising driver going to a show type vehicle. I didn't really see a point to having them on this one. The thing about slotted and cross-drilled is you can't cut them. So if you get a brake chatter down the road or you get a caliper that sticks and eats up the pads, you need to put new rotors on when you go through that type of situation. With the standard type of rotor, those rotors could actually be cut and reused on this project down the road. It just made more sense for something that's going to be more of a driver, in my opinion. To wrap up this video, I'll tell you what we did today on the truck. Mainly, we just worked on getting everything, once again, a baseline. I ran a bunch of errands picking up that brake kit and the auto body supply stuff. Unfortunately, that ate up some time in the day. But when working on the truck itself, we got the body shimmed to where we want it. The cab actually ended up, when we started sighting down the hood, this body line on the side of the thing, to the door, to the bed, we found that we actually had a problem where it was dipping in the middle. Like from the end of the hood to the back of the cab, that B-pillar area was dipping down. The whole truck kind of had a V shape to it. We checked the frame over and over, and it's not in the frame, it's just in the way the body was sitting on there. So we ended up actually shimming this corner of the cab, the driver's side B-pillar area, and bringing this corner up quite substantially, honestly. I looked and looked. It's not something I like to do, but I could not find any place where there was something wrong. No bent, sagged, damaged, rusted, and the underside of this cab is pretty solid. Just minor surface rust that'll clean off with a little sandblasting or sanding. So I couldn't find a reason why that was happening, but it was. Doesn't really matter, but I couldn't find a reason. That needed to be addressed. We shimmed up this corner of the bed, shimmed down this corner of the cab, got it all to line up, and now the body line looks great down the side of this truck. This camera won't really translate it very well, I don't think, unfortunately. As well as doing that, I got the passenger side door off this thing because the hinges were bad on that side, real bad. In fact, there's one of them over here now. I filmed a whole video that I'll probably put up dedicated just on actually replacing the pins and bushings in these things, but like I cannot get this thing to move. Whereas the one that I replaced the pin on, it's almost too free, but I'd rather that than bound up. And then we ended up getting one new one because that other one that's really locked up, it also looks like the bushing wore away and it's eating into the hinge itself. So I just decided one new hinge would work. And you can see I can actually move this one but it's good and tight. So between these two hinges, this door should be all good now. I think it's gonna wrap it up for this vlog on the truck build. We're gonna be working on a whole lot more stuff to come, and I'm sure there'll be more of these videos. Let me know if you like this style of video. It's a little different, a little more hands-on, a little less informational, just showing you what it is that I'm doing. Let me know what you think. Go ahead and like this video if you found it interesting. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you want to see more videos like this one? Let me know what you are thinking. Get subscribed to keep up to date with all the Hot Rod Hippie content. Thanks for coming around, folks.